morning, everybody. Good to see everybody here. I don't think we have any apologies. No, we're all here. Can we approve the minutes of the meeting on the 13th of June? Thank you. I haven't any announcements. No urgent items to add. Draw your attention to item 5, exclusion public and press, but I don't think we have. Perhaps item 14, maybe to exclude. Members' declaration of interest. Can I draw your attention to that? And we go on to the key reports. Councillor Hemingway.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, this document sets out the way the Council will manage trees across the district in a safe and sustainable way. We know trees are absolutely vital green lungs that help purify our air, provide homes for many different businesses, different species even, sequester carbon and simply make areas look more beautiful. But trees need to be actively managed, and there are times when work is required to remove branches, limbs and sometimes entire trees where they're diseased or in the interests of public safety. This can sometimes prove a controversial issue, and it's therefore important that we have a robust and consistent policy, and this is also about managing risks to the Council and to public safety appropriately and proportionately. There's a comprehensive list of circumstances where the Council would take action, and that's set out in section 4 of the attached policy in the report on agenda page 7, and that also sets out where the Council would look to undertake cost recovery where it may be that a private landlord has allowed a tree to overgrow or affect the public highway or prove a safety issue. The list is very specific by necessity, but the new policy does feature some discretion, and section 4 will permit the portfolio holder and service director to discuss deviation from the tree policy where appropriate in individual cases, and that will usually be where exceptional circumstances have arisen that mean work is necessary. The full recommendations are set out on agenda page 11, with option 1, the adoption of the tree safety policy, being the preferred option. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that. Any comments? We all happy with the report? Oh, sorry, Maureen.
Yeah, thank you. I welcome the policy, but I want to further commend you, Jack, on the fact that you've now got a new scheme in place for utilising those trees that are actually cut down. And I just wondered if you'd like to tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for that question, Maureen. One of the things that we've been really keen to do is to make sure that we're using the timber, because the council has to cut down a certain amount of timber each year to manage our woodlands and trees sustainably. And what we're now using that timber for is for sustainable projects to create wooden furniture, and using them where groups have an interest in buying that timber to create things. So rather than burning the timber, we're now using it to create new things, which is wonderful and circular. So yeah, it's an exciting scheme we've introduced. Thank you.
Okay. With that, can we agree the report? Agreed. Thank you. Item 8, the procurement of an independent advocacy service. Councillor Cummings.
Yeah. The purpose of this report is to seek approval for the re-procurement of the independent advocacy service with a commencement date of the 1st of April 2024. There is a duty under the Mental Health Act for the Council to provide advocacy and support to individuals that are eligible because of mental health circumstances. The current service provides a single point of access in Wakefield District. The service has provided 860 interventions during 22-23. As outlined in 3.3, the service offers free from influence from their providers, a service that has no conflicts. Resource implications are outlined at 6.1 and can be contained within the Directorate's budgets, and the recommendation is at 4.2 and seeks approval to commence the competitive procurement exercise with a commencement date of the 1st of April 2024 for a 4-year period with an option to extend for 3 years.
Thank you for that. Any comments? Are you all happy with that? We agree the report. Thanks very much. Item 9 has been deferred for further consideration. Item 10, cycling participation.
Yeah, thank you.
Michelle.
So in recent years, Arts, Culture and Leisure have worked with Cycle North and the Bikeability Trust to still increase the district's core bikeability funding allocation. Annual funding increasing from 57k in 2017 to 156k in 2022.
And as a result of this additional funding,
more than 4,000 children in 63 schools spread across the district have attended bikeability training in the 22-23 school year. Based on the success of this expansion of the programme, the aspiration is that by 2030, 10,000 children each year should have the opportunity to attend the bikeability training in the district. This Cabinet report notes the work of the scheme this far, and option 2 seeks Cabinet approval for Arts, Culture and Leisure to apply to accept the annual Wakefield district funding allocation for the Culture and Leisure to be able to deliver the bikeability and cycle training programme until March 2028, and to use this funding to procure a provider to deliver the training on behalf of the council, so that we can continue to deliver this already successful programme. And with that, I ask that we approve option 2.
Thanks for that, Michelle. We're all happy with that. Jack?
Thank you, Lydia, and thank you, Michelle, for bringing this report. I think it's absolutely excellent. One of the key things is getting people while they're young to get into cycling, because once you learn to ride, you never forget how. So I think this is so important. It's healthier for young people to use a bike than obviously rely on a car. It's getting cars off the roads, hopefully, and with more cycle lanes and active travel routes coming in, hopefully it's something that they can take into adult life and use as they grow up and get jobs and things. So thank you very much and fully support the paper.
Margaret?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, wonderful scheme. I can remember doing a similar one when I was very small at school, many, many years ago. With regard to the, and note that particularly that you're looking at Eastmoor and Flanshaw, because there's very little take up there. When the children are actually, when they've learnt to ride a bike, I believe that a lot of them won't even be able to afford to buy a bike. I'm wondering if we could look at perhaps having some sort of pool where people can donate the used bikes, and we can actually give these out to children that are unable to purchase themselves.
It's a very good point, Margaret. Obviously, you'll see from the papers that in the scheme we do loan the bikes out for them to be able to learn to ride on, but it is a little bit of a fruitless task if they're not able to go and do that. I know there are some fantastic initiatives sort of privately, but it's definitely something that I can speak to officers about, and I'll feed back to you on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, Michelle, and I can put my hand up and say I've got 5 grandkids from ages of 11 right up to 24, and none of them have got a bike. And they've never had a bike. They learn how to, we learnt them how to ride when they were younger, and that was it. And guess what? They spend more time on the phones and doing things like that. I think we need more at schools. We need to develop this sort of thing, and I agree exactly what Margaret says. That to actually look at some of these kids who can't afford a bike, to do something for them as well, Michelle. So I really welcome this. It's an excellent report.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic scheme, and obviously to get children out on the bikes and healthy, much healthier lifestyle. But I take Margaret's point that a lot of families won't be, and especially if they've more than a few children, they won't be able to afford bikes. And if we could look at a scheme, or people across this district are very generous, helping and offering support and help through food and other things, and schools initiatives that Maureen's taken up with food grants. I just think that if we reach out to communities and set a scheme up, I think this could really, really fly, and I think we should try and do that. So perhaps you two could work together on this initiative. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, with that, can we agree with... Sorry, Maureen.
I'm out of your eye shot, I know I am, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I think it's commendable, and there is a really good cycle down in your area, which maybe we could, you could look to work with. But I also remember 100 years ago when I was at school, and it was after school. I know it's not within the curriculum at the moment, but we used to have people come in with bikes for an after-school club, and that was run by Public Health, would you believe? And it's maybe something we could look at.
Yeah, perhaps it's something we could work on across a few of us. Yeah. Can we agree with the report then? Thank you.
Agreed.
Right, our year.
Thank you. So our year it plans to be an inclusive year-long celebration of our district, providing a unique opportunity to bring our communities together and connect them with the district's amazing and cultural creative assets and outdoor spaces, as well as showcasing what makes our communities special. It hopes that it will boost visitor numbers, which are going to benefit all our local businesses and high streets, and it will support our cultural and creative sector to grow, providing a lasting legacy of quality employment opportunities for local people. Most importantly, our year's programme of activity will include something for everyone to get involved in, and it really is a key part of the programme, is that there is something for everyone. It will reflect our amazing heritage and at the same time is putting our district firmly on the map as an exciting place to live, work and create. Some of the highlights from the proposed programme include crossings and gateways, which will integrate public art across communities, driving a unique sense of place and pride in every single ward. Moments of Wonder, the Council's major events and festivals programme, which will provide residents with key moments to celebrate and inspire. I think we've seen from this year and previous years how good that is, and it's just going to be even better next year.
Building on brilliance, partners across the district will celebrate our year with a programme of events,
Exhibitions and activities, so we're all going to be working together to deliver for the communities. Our stories, a collection of stories from across the district which will celebrate our shared heritage, connecting cultural and heritage assets together. Creativity around the corner will engage local businesses and public sector bodies through creative and residents. Culture grants, which we've already seen a number of being awarded this year,
will support community groups to run arts and culture projects designed for
and with their local
communities. And Wakefield Exchange will launch in spring 2024, transforming a disused landmark building in the heart of the city centre into a unique creative hub. Our year will bring significant external investment into the district, benefiting our economy, supported by £500,000 from the Council's Cultural Seed Fund. Following the award of £800,000 from WICA, the Council are waiting for an imminent decision on additional funding from the Arts Council England. We've got our fingers crossed that we'll get that any day. And that would further boost
Cultural opportunities for residents during 2024. This report asks that we accept this funding should it come in and approve the plans of events as set out in the report. I think we're all set for what's going to be a really exciting year next year.
Thanks for that, Michelle. Yes, I think it will, and that really there'll be something for everyone. I mean, I know that there was the launch that you had on Friday with the statue, and that's controversial in itself. But the fact that we were offered money to do this, I know negative people have said, why don't you spend it on potholes? And unfortunately, the public don't quite understand that we get offered money from government for specific things like the culture. And really, we do see ourselves as a city of culture. And our year will be something special. Now, it won't please everybody. There's always some people who think, why are they doing this, why are they doing the other? But hopefully, Michelle, there'll be something for everyone. And I think you were pleasantly surprised on Friday at the support there was for the statue. So, I think it's to be welcomed. And as much funding that we can get in. I know DCMS are very supportive of Wakefield Council, and they do see us as a cultural centre. Michael?
Yeah, I obviously really welcome this report, and I'm so excited, and I think Denise is completely right. We're really good as a council at attracting that external funding. We are putting in a lot of money ourselves, but we're trebling that with external funding from the Combined Authority, from the Arts Council, and it will be so worth it. Businesses right across the district and people are always asking, they want more things to do. They want to come together as communities and celebrate what they've had going on in the past and look towards the future. And this year is going to provide just that. I'm really excited for it. I know loads of people who are going to really enjoy this. It's going to be iconic, just like our Amazonian love god, which I've been waiting for the rain to go off so I can get down there and get a lovely picture with it. So I don't want a gloomy one. But I mean, what a story behind that as well. Once people know what that statue means to the artist and to the people of Wakefield, it's not just, an interesting statue to look at. There's a great story behind it. So it is about that, isn't it? It's about having them clear messages to people of why we're doing stuff. And I think we're going to get it spot on. So, yeah, can't wait, Michelle. And I'm sure you're going to blow us away with what you're doing.
Matthew?
What a boring world we're living in. Every single penny has to be spent on potholes. I mean, we've just got £11 million spent on potholes, so we've got plenty of money to be going on, which is quite truthful, and we'll work its way across the district. But Michael is right about the Amazonian love god. The reaction that you've seen on social media has been absolutely ridiculous, how people have been slating it. It's been nice, actually, when people have gone down and seen it and read the story about it, how they've changed their opinion of it, and actually it's quite fitting where it is. And I always love when these sort of things come in. It's recently on social media, the Crate House of Castleford, it hasn't been there for probably about 15 years. It's still people still talking about it. What a waste of money that was, what a brilliant thing that was. So I love how these sort of installations and bits of art and what we do in culture really provokes people and gets people debating stuff. So I welcome it, Michelle, and thank you for you and your officers for what you do. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I think that's right in terms of crates at Castleford. People didn't want them when they were first put there, but actually then campaigned to save them when they were taken away. And I think the Amazonian Cayman god, which is his actual name, interestingly weren't supposed to do it, that's a whole different story, is one of those things. You know, to be completely honest, I spoke to the artists about this on Friday, weren't really sure looking at pictures, but going down there, seeing it, speaking to Jason, who was out on Friday, speaking to residents about it. Once you understand the story behind it, it's a huge celebration of disability and love. And it's, you know, it is just fantastic. And I think it is money that we've got from government for it. People are talking about it whether they like it or not, so it's doing its job. People are talking about art and culture, and I think that it's fantastic, and we are just going to see more of that going forward over next year.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, can we agree the report? Agree. Thanks very much. Michael, item 12, establishing a market.
Excuse me, Chair, could I declare an interest here as a member of Featherstone Town Council, because they may be impacted?
Yes,
by the
okay,
report.
fine. Establishing a market price policy.
Yeah, so we are bringing in a new policy. In 2022, we had a market service review that recommended that we have this policy, and we haven't got it. Most councils across the country have it. It's a really simple one, really. It just gives us more control over specialist markets and craft fairs and artisan markets. It won't have any effect on our markets across the district as it stands. So this is all about having that consistency, having that fairness across how we operate markets, helping us to advertise that this is an offer to anyone who wants to hold markets in our land. So it's a positive, it's a bit of boring policy admin, but it also will bring some benefits with it to bring in more revenue and just help us to have more markets, and who doesn't want that? So the recommendations are on page 139, and ask Cabinet to approve them.
Yeah, no, I know this sometimes legislation can be seen as boring, but it will mean a lot to the people who want to put markets on. I know that in Castleford, I was approached last night at a business meeting about having a market once a Sunday run by a private individual. So this will really be helpful, and I did mention that, and it went down really well. So thanks for bringing this, Michael. Anyone else? Okay, can we agree that?
Agreed.
And then the item 13, Michael, adult education budget.
Yeah, so I'm asking Cabinet today to accept £2,112,126 of adult education grant from the government. This money helps us to run the service, and the report sets out, you know, exactly what we do as a service, exactly what we achieve. It is an outstanding service. It's got an outstanding person at the top of it driving it, and an outstanding set of people underneath who work really well together to produce fantastic results for the people across our district. So this money, I mean, we will say yes to it because we need it to run the service. It's that straightforward. So yeah, thank you for considering this, and there's the recommendations.
Yeah, I think it's bizarre that we're asked to actually accept over £2 million to educate 19 plus people who to make them job ready. I think it's absolutely wonderful that we've received this money, but I note under 3.63 a list of partners that will help us achieve this. And for me, what's missing off there is the voluntary sector, the help at the hubs, the anchors, and those that actually deliver adult education. And I'm really hoping that this money will be used across the district and not just centrally, where people have to come in and access the service. You and I have talked about this, to access the service, but it's actually delivered in communities so that people don't have to expend bus fare to actually get the education that they need, to actually get jobs. So I urge, certainly acceptance, but I certainly urge that we work with our voluntary sector across the whole of the district to actually deliver these. I think there are up to 20 subjects within level 3. As I say, I really urge that we work across the district and not just centrally and expect people to come in. The only other thing, and it's at 3.63, it lists something there, and one of the things is home educators, and I'm not sure what a home educator is. We talked, Margaret and I, about those children that are homeschooled. I'm not sure what a home educator is. So I suppose my question is, make sure we work across the district, but what's a home educator?
It's someone who delivers education in the house. But on the point...
I think I'd work that way.
On the point of, yeah, I totally agree. Ideally, I would love us to be out in every single community, bringing all of our services right across the council to people's doorsteps. Obviously, I think it's something we've looked at in the past in terms of adult education, of getting more out there into communities as much as possible. But realistically, that comes with a cost to the service. And I know it's something that hasn't happened in the past, because it has been raised multiple times, I believe, over the last 10 years, and it's never happened to the extent that I know you'd like to see it happen. But I am definitely open to looking at, you know, what is the impact on this council of doing that, because there'll be a huge impact on the residents of having that come out to them. So I'm very open to looking at it, seeing what we can do, seeing what we can change and tweak, and how we can work with other people to make it happen. So I'm really glad you've raised it, Maureen. I think it's an important thing to consider.
I think we should put residents first. If we want our residents to have some gainful employment, and we've got funding to actually help them do that, we should be putting the residents first.
I think we'd all agree with that. Jack?
Yeah, thank you, Denise. I just want to commend Michael bring this report, and definitely want to accept the money. I think this is an example of a really, really high-performing scheme. You look at agenda page 153, just the statistics there. Achievement increased from 90.1% to 92.8%. Retention increased to 98%. Pass rate increased to 95.3%. This is a phenomenal scheme that's delivering fantastic results for residents. And I think what's really important is this targets an age group that often get forgotten because they're moving out of full-time education, they're not yet in the world of work. So this is targeted at the right people, and it's delivering what we need to do. So thank you, fully support it.
Thanks for those really supportive comments, Jack.
Okay, anyone else? Can we agree the report?
Agreed.
And yes, we want the money. Okay, Michael, disposal of land at Farm Lane. This is something I'm really excited about.
Yes, so I know that as a council, we want to deliver more and more affordable housing, and we want to deliver more social housing as well. I know it's one of your priorities, Denise as leader and Jack's as deputy, and you know, this is all about that, isn't it? It's delivering that. So, I mean, all the details are set out. I think that the headlines for me is that this will be 100% affordable housing, and it will be 75% social housing, and it will result in a capital of receipts as well. So it's all good news for the council, but it's even better news for people who need decent and quality homes. This will be the first site of many, I'm hoping, that we bring forward in the very near future. So expect a lot more of this coming to Cabinet, because we really want to push on with this. We really want to get people with quality homes so that we can start to look at everything else as well. So asking the Cabinet to support the recommendations.
Yeah, it's really good news. As all of you know, Jack and I really wanted to build our own housing, but that's not been possible. But we did acquire this site, and the fact that it's going to be 100% affordable housing, delivering for the people of this district. And as you say, Michael, it's the first of many sites coming forward. I think it's really good news, and we want people to know that this is what we're achieving. We can't do it ourselves, but working with partners, we can deliver affordable housing across the district for people who are in desperate need, especially in times like this. So I know it's been a while coming, but the fact that it's here today is really good news. Anyone else? Jazz?
Yeah, thank you, Denise. Fully agree with your comments. I think this council is absolutely committed to delivering affordable housing for residents. We know the private sector doesn't always deliver exactly the kind of housing that we want to see, so it is important the council intervenes in the market where it can to support those residents that do need affordable rents and affordable homes to buy. And I think it's great that this has a mix of both rented and purchasable affordable homes, which is so important. So thank you, fully support this scheme.
Michelle?
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, I think this is just an absolutely fantastic initiative that we're moving forward with. People in the South East of the district are often priced out of houses because as much as developers might call them afforded, they're not necessarily always affordable. And the fact that this is 75% social housing as well means that people actually that want to live where they grow up have got an opportunity to do that and they're not priced out of the market. I just think it's absolutely fantastic and I look forward to more of the same coming forwards.
Yeah, it's brilliant news, Les.
Yeah, surgeries that we all run, important, certainly in our wards. The number of people that are now coming forward to my surgery and our surgery in Ward 2 that can't get housing. I've got young kids sofa surfing, kids at 17, 18, 19 who have no chance of even getting on the rental market. We've got a lack of affordable homes and it's getting worse, not better. This is a fantastic way forward and I think I'd like to see more and more of it, and I know everybody around this table would like to see more and more of it, and affordable homes is the way. It depends on what you're building, you know, a mixture of homes, and that's why I welcome this report. But unless we do that, we'll start to fail more and more young people, and not just young people, families who just can't afford to get on the ladder and who can't afford to get home. So it's a really good report, welcome it, and I think it's a way forward. And what you said there, Leader, about we need to be looking at this on a more regular basis. So certainly welcome the report.
Okay. Maureen?
Sorry, Denise, and I welcome it as well. The more homes we can build for those people that sadly are homeless, 742 people homeless as we sit here today in our district, 300 and odd of those are children. So the more and more that we can actually build our own properties within the district to house those people who have fallen on very, very sad times because of the cost of living crisis and everything going up, the better. So I absolutely do welcome this.
Yeah, I think we all do. Yeah, so obviously we agree with the report.
Yes.
Thank you. Les, Microsoft Enterprise Procurement.
Thank you. Purpose of this report, the current Microsoft licensing agreement expires in December 2023. This report seeks the approval of the continued revenue investment funding of the Microsoft licensing nominated Microsoft licensing reseller in accordance with procurement rules and legislation, and an uplift of an enhanced level up to E5 as an investment to save opportunity and to future-proof our technology and structure. The estimated contract value based on procuring E5 licenses is an uplift from the current E3 license is 5.5 million over 3 years. The Cabinet is asked to approve the procurement of a new Microsoft licensing reseller through CCS for E5 licenses with 3-year contract value estimated at 6.9. The 6.9 is the extra 4.1 million that's detailed in 1.12. So Cabinet is asked to approve.
Okay. Any questions? Are we all happy with that? Thanks very much. Item 16 is the financial health report, period 2023-24, April to May. It's on pages 301 to 321. It's informing Cabinet of the initial forecast position against the revenue budget for the current financial year, which is an overspend of 4.9 million. Cabinet will be aware that in the current economic climate continues to have a significant impact on the council and all local authorities, resulting in increased demand and rising costs. Table 1 on agenda page 304 provides a summary position by directorate with a further detail shown in section 3.3 of the report and also in the council-wide dashboard at Appendix 1 and the directorate dashboards at Appendix 2. Due to the ongoing uncertainty linked to inflation, Table 2 on page 305 details the proposed use of the inflation contingency budget to support emerging inflation pressures and the positively impact that this should have on the forecast overspent position. Table 3 on agenda page 310 gives a summary of the Council's revenue reserves, anticipated reserves as at the end of the year will total 101 million. The recommendations can be found on pages 301 and 302. Any questions? Okay, can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Thanks very much. Okay, Jack, solar programmes for school.
Thank you, Leader. I'm delighted to move this report regarding solar for schools. The report is notifying Cabinet and also seeking agreement to proceed with the Solar for Schools scheme, which will see up to £2 million invested in 22 local authority schools to install solar panels. The scheme will help us reduce hundreds of tonnes of carbon, generating clean green power for our schools, and is also self-financing. The way the scheme operates is that the company invests in the solar panels on the schools, and then power fed back into the grid during the summer and the holiday periods when schools are closed generates a financial return to cover the costs. Not only will the scheme see external funding put in place to install the panels, but another exciting part of the scheme is that funding is provided for a climate-based education programme to help inform and educate children at the schools involved. Schools have been assessed for suitability already and a shortlist has been drawn up. However, the proposals will also be subject to individual assessment and agreement on a school-by-school basis, and only where schools want to take part, we're not going to force their hand in any way, will they sign up to the programme. So if it's not right for them, they don't have to. Even so, this is a really positive scheme, and as we've seen with the recent Schools Climate Relay, our district's young people are passionate about taking action on the environment, and this is yet another way we can help them do that, both practically and also in terms of education. The recommendations are set out on agenda page 325, and the preferred option is option 1 to go ahead with the scheme.
Margaret?
Yeah. I welcome this, Jack. I think it's absolutely brilliant. As you know, a lot of schools have been pushing for some sort of green agenda, and with the cost of living and the cost of energy within schools now, certainly the schools that take it on board are going to benefit. Hopefully, at some point, it can be spread even further. And as you say, I particularly like the idea that we're educating the young people, although they do get a lot of education in green living, but this to be combined with this is absolutely brilliant, and I just hope we can push on with it.
Thank you, Margaret. Absolutely agree with your comments. I know you've been pushing really hard from an education point of view to get climate action in schools, so this is a good step we can take and hopefully will have a big impact. And if it works, then yeah, we'll look to roll it out further in the coming months and years.
Okay, any questions? Anybody? Okay, can we agree the report? Thank you. Item 18, employment and skills strategy.
Thanks, Denise. So on the 10th of November 2020, Cabinet approved the last employment and skills strategy, and this report is really about updating Cabinet on what has been achieved over the last couple of years or 3 years. I always lose a year because of the pandemic. So what we've achieved over the last few years and what projects have been going on, and it provides that update there. I think we're all aware of, whenever it comes to any department in the council, comparing us to other councils across the country, we're always higher in some things and lower in others, and it's exactly the same in employment and skills as well. There's some things that we're high on, and I think the one that always stands out as being low on is people who are qualified up to level 4 within the district. The good news is that we were at 27.6% in 2019, and we're now at 29%, so we are on our way up. But the national average is 43%, and so for me that has to be a focus of what do we do across this district, or what do we do more of or better of to help keep improving on that number, because we are improving on it. As well as telling you what we've been doing and what we've achieved. This report also asks for you to support our application to become a member of the global network of learning cities. So we were approached by UNESCO to apply for this. I think they only pick 3 people per year and they have a lot of applications. So this is a really good opportunity for us to join up with other cities across the country and beyond, to learn from them, see what they're doing. You know, it's a really positive thing. Talking to other people is always a positive thing. You learn so much. So I hope you can support this as well. And with that, happy to take any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay, agree the report. Thanks very much. And then the last item is the Treasury Management as for to the end of the year.
Thanks, Leader. This report, which can be found on agenda pages 463 to 478, informs Cabinet of the Treasury Management activities for 2022-2023 financial year and provides positive assurances that these activities complied with the strategy and the policies which were approved by full council on March 2023. Section 1.2 of the report provides Cabinet with key issues that are in addition to the positive assurances of the Council's long-term indebtedness, which is 524 million, which is called the capital financing requirement. This has increased from the previous years by 24 million due primarily to capital expenditure funded by borrowing, being greater than the amount that was set aside to repay debt. The Council's actual external borrowing totals 241 million, of which 60 million was short-term borrowing. It's the Council's strategy currently to borrow on a short-term basis due to high levels of interest rates. I'm sure we all understand that. Where possible, the Council uses its internal reserves and balances to defer the need to take on more external debt. This is termed under borrowing, and this policy has saved the Council significant interest payments in 2022-2023 financial year. The recommendations set out in paragraph 2.1 on the agenda page 464 is to note the information contained within this report.
Thanks very much for that. Are we all happy with that? Okay, can we agree the report? Agreed. Thank you very much. Thanks very much, everybody.